Hi everyone, welcome back to Basic Design and Sewing Classes. I kind of wanted to start off with some discussing materials and tools. I know my other videos were kind of like, you know, um, I was working on, a couple of collections and I had like the wording right in my face. But today I just want to actually share on how I really begin my collections. I always start with a oak tag bodice, and an oak tag bodice is 5 pieces. You have your front bodice, and this is a dart, and you have your back bodice, which comes with 2 darts as well. Okay, and you have your back skirt. It also has two darts, and then you have your front skirt. Always start off with the industry standard bodice, and you always have, you have a sleeve with this. So this is an industry, fashion industry that all designers use, and we have the sleeve here. And these right here are called notches. 1 notch is for the front hole, and 2 notches is for the back of the sleeve. So this is the front of the sleeve and the back of the sleeve. And the arrow means the grain line. This is the arrow means that you want to lay your fabric in this direction. Okay, so you should always have a grain line, on your actual patterns. So it lets the sewer know if they're going to cut, your garment on, the direction it should lay the fabric. The direction the fabric should lay. Now this is called the dotted paper. Everyone use the dotted paper. Same amount of pieces. You have your front, you have your back, you have your center front skirt, and you have your center back skirt, and you have your sleeve. Okay, and it also has a grain line as well. Okay, so this here, you would design your garment on here, on the paper. You would use this paper to design your garment. Say you wanted a flare skirt, then you would cut this into a flare skirt. You will open it up, and I'll demonstrate that at some point. And once you have opened your pattern up to where you want it, then you would make an oak tag pattern. This is the final pattern. This is the design pattern, and this is the final pattern. In most companies, you'll find thousands of these hanging up. This is your money. To make a sample bodice dress garment normally runs you between $85 just to have this. But you can make thousands of dresses. You can make like just skirts, or you can just make tops. You can make short sleeves, long sleeves. This when you start manipulating the pattern to start building your collection like I was doing at first. So I decided to back up a little bit and show you exactly my 1, 2, 3 steps. This is my first step, the dotted paper pattern, which is the dress bodice, and this is the same dress bodice, but it's only in an oak tag because it's easy to cut fabric. You can do layers of fabric, and go ahead and cut out your pieces, which the dotted paper pattern is where you design. You can use that to design. So the materials that I use for pattern making is the paper scissors. These are fabric scissors. You do not want to use fabric scissors with paper. You only want to use paper scissors. It'll make these very dull if you start cutting them with paper. These are only good for cutting fabric, the actual fabric. Okay, I always use straight pins. you know. I use straight pins, and sometimes I use tape, but most of the time I use straight pins for pinning. And this is your awl. You need your awl for piercing your darts, you know, identifying your darts on the fabric. So you'll find that I have holes throughout, you know, my patterns, because I always start my collection fresh. You know, I always start with the dress bodice or the pants bodice, and I go from there. So if I have darts, then I will use the awl to pierce my darts. Okay. Now here's you call a notcher. This is a notcher. You use this to notch your darts. So I've notched my darts right here. So I would use this tool right here to notch my darts, you know. So whenever I have darts, then they're recognized in the industry. Say like here, I didn't notch this notcher here, so I'll take this and I'll just notch it like that. And also my sleeves, I forgot to notch those, so I'm just going to go ahead and notch them right now. Okay. Now it's a process to really make these, so I'm going to demonstrate exactly how I make the dotted paper pattern and the oak tag pattern in the next video. So I always use a Sharpie, a black Sharpie. Black pen, black Sharpies are always used in fashion because, you know, you can't erase it. It's permanent. You know, you want to use fabric chalk on actual fabric, which is what I have here. So you use your fabric chalk on fabric, and then you use your Sharpie on paper on the patterns that you create. Okay, and these little scissors are good for when you're sewing, you know. Instead of using the big scissors, you always want to have, you know, some small scissors. And here's a seam ripper. The seam ripper is really good for if you're sewing, you got, oh my God, I made a mistake. You can seam rip that apart, the thread apart from the garment, and you can re-sew the garment. Okay. Now oak tag patterns, all patterns are better hung. So here are pattern hooks, and it's best to hang them. You do not want to fold your patterns, okay? That's not industry standard. You want to always hang them up, okay? They're better hung because you can work with them so much better. Okay, so this is the first lesson of materials and tools and what they're used for, and the you know, the dress pattern, which is the dotted paper, you know, which is, you know, this is kind of like a blueprint. You can put this away and work on the oak tag. And if you were to lend this out and have someone make your dress, you say, okay, here's my pattern, my sample pattern, and here's the fabric. Just think if they had like maybe 5, 6 other designers that they were working with and they misplaced this right here is your backup to remake another one. Okay, so anytime you're going to design a new outfit or a new garment, you want to have the original as a backup. Okay, so say like I wanted to make a flare skirt, then I will make another one, another set. Always have extra sets when I'm designing because I don't want to ruin my blueprint. You know, I don't want to use it, you know, so I'll just retrace another set. Okay, so my next video, I'm going to show you how to, to trace this set onto the dotted paper. And here I have the oak tag paper right here is what I use. I have lots of patterns because I'm always designing. And here is the dotted paper. You know, it's very long, you know, so I will show you in the next video how to create your pattern. Okay, thank you. See you soon.